pain. The nurse asks, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst you've ever felt, how would you rate your pain? Once the doctors and nurses determine there's nothing wrong with my neck or spine, it's time to remove the spinal cord. A team rolls me onto my undamaged side. My body deflates like a tent with the poles removed, the broken left collapsing to the right. This is a 10. The freedom of becoming my pain, of lying here with no control of what comes out of my mouth, it's like losing myself in orgasm, except in front of a crowd. They ease me onto my back and I stop crying out. I imagine an overcooked turkey falling to pieces. It feels like bones are poking through my skin beneath my armpit and into my lungs. My left foot lies flat while my right foot stays at a healthy 45 degrees. Clearly, my hip is disconnected. Shattered ribs have perforated my skin and lungs. No one fixes these problems because they don't exist. Pain from the fractures has created them in my mind. This is not unusual. Hooked to a morphine drip the next day, the pain hovers around 6 and spikes occasionally to 8. Secretly, I enjoy it. The pain is so bright, so real. There's no denying it or faking it or avoiding it. The pain is here and it's mine. I am irretrievably in the moment. That scene in Fight Club where Tyler Durden gives the narrator a chemical burn, I used to empathize with the narrator, but now it's Tyler Durden all the way. I understand the purpose of all-encompassing pain. I recognize my mortality. God will not spare me anything. I will age, I will die, and I will be dirt in the ground. Believe it or not, I find this thought comforting. Bathroom. The discomfort of a full bladder is buried by my injured pelvis and sacrum. By the time I realize I have to pee, I really have to pee. The trouble is I need privacy to function, but I can't get out of bed. Lying there, my dick in a plastic juice jug, nothing but a curtain separating me from the world, my bladder won't give up the goods. My wife and I try all of the tricks, but nothing works. The pain of tightening the muscles around my fractured ribs is too great to force anything out. I can only wait, relying on a combination of prayer and curses. I'm a largish man. Each time I finally manage to empty my bladder, it causes a fight among the staff. I fill the jug to the point where nurses accuse each other of not emptying it when they're supposed to. Explaining the truth while on morphine is impossible. At home, I learned one of the side effects of oxycodone is constipation. I'm on a medication calling itself stool softener to contend with this. The medication should be called rabbit pellets. Instead of the easy BM I expected, I sit and wait for a series of rock-hard pebbles to fall out of my butt. This process takes roughly the time it took Peter Jackson to film the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I haven't had a decent shit in weeks, but I've gotten lots of reading done. Sex. I don't know how many weeks pass before I take penis in hand to idle away some time, the way I would if I were stuck alone home alone and they healthy. I learned that with a fractured pelvis, sacrum, and ribs, there is no comfortable position for this activity. Also, under the haze of pain medication, it takes a lot more time and work to reach my goal. After several hours of continuous, concentrated effort, I discover muscles I didn't know I possessed. These muscles have a tendency to clench at crucial moments. Pain prolongs the process. Eventually, I learned that abstaining for a few weeks leads to a monumental cleanup. The cleanup is almost as painful as the process. Now that I know everything below the waist still works, I decide a repeat performance is not worth the effort. A few days later, my wife and I have sex. It's carefully planned and even more carefully executed, but with satisfactory results for both of us. At the moment of orgasm, blood pounding into the broken parts of my body, I understand David Cronenberg's Crash a movie about people who deliberately crash cars to break bones and heighten sexual pleasure on a much deeper level than I ever wanted to. Worried my sex life is over, I tell a friend about it the next day. He thinks for a moment, then says, "Dude, you get laid more than I do and you're crippled." Memory. The impact and some of the aftermath are like letters to a mental patient. Portions have been deleted for fear of upsetting the patient. When I saw the car coming at me, I knew I was going to die. I had time for one thought before the world went white. If only. I'm told I didn't lose consciousness, but I will never be able to describe what it feels like to have my wheels knocked from their axles, the side of my car crushed into me by 2 feet, the sound of glass shattering and metal crunching around me. I remember images like Polaroids floating in white paint. My leg pinned between the door and the seat arched between my legs like a taco, the door tucked into my armpit. I felt a lap full of broken glass, but I couldn't see it. I heard the voices of EMTs, the blades of the helicopter, the patter of doctors and nurses at Ryder Trauma Center, but it's like a degraded reel of film, the audio intact, but the video mostly gone. When the nurse with the kind voice gave me 3 shots, the world came back. Visually, most of the time in between is little more than blank space. I've since learned that adrenaline dilates your pupils to let in as much light as possible. Useful at night, but not so much under Miami's sun or the harsh fluorescence of an operating theater. I cried like a lost toddler the entire ride home from the hospital, proving that some part of me remembers everything. I've had other flashbacks, not nearly as strong, but still terrifying. I've learned how to stop them. I simply don't look left when I'm in a car. This may impede my driving if I ever get behind the wheel again, but what the hell. Retrospective. Yes, there was a before, and yes, there was an after, and yes, I am changed forever. I don't take my body for granted any longer. I'm more in touch with my emotions. I cry more and I care more, but I worry less. The pain is negligible, an ache dampened by a leave. It's worse in wet weather, or when I visit my family up north in the winter. Usually I'm glad the pain is still with me. I don't know how long I'll be wandering the earth, but I don't want to forget my time is limited.